In 2022, a car accelerated over 100 miles per hour down a quiet Ohio street, never braking before slamming into a building and killing 2 young men inside. What first looked like a tragic crash quickly turned into something far more disturbing, as investigators uncovered threats, prior incidents, and a possible plan. The case would hinge on seconds of footage and data you can't just explain away. Tonight, we examine the case of Mackenzie Shirilla. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. Tonight's show involves Mike's hometown and driving into a wall at a high rate of speed. Stick around. He's either going to come in his pants or shit on his leg again for nostalgia. Let's see which one it'll be. This is Necronomipod.
Dave, I'm a little confused what you meant by that intro, come in my pants. Is that a Dale Earnhardt reference?
Well, I think it was a Dale Earnhardt reference.
If history has taught us anything, it's that when a hero of mine dies, my penis does not work.
It was funnier, though, if it did. Like if I could have said you would lose your boner, it would lead to people saying, well, why does he have a boner when he's recording this terrible show? So I just thought it worked.
In times of tragedy, I come. 9/11 was the biggest orgasm day of my life. That's fucked up, man.
That, or I thought the hometown talk would make you nostalgic for when you were on your parents' front porch shitting your pants. And that might get triggered again for whatever reason. That's all.
In all fairness, I had made it 3 miles and I was 20 feet from a toilet. I had a tap. I tapped out.
Shit happens, as they say, sir.
Oh, well, this will be an interesting one. This is a close to home episode.
Yeah.
For old Mike Nomopod. But Dave, you're over there. You're a little broke.
So a couple hours ago, I was hitting my heavy bag and working out some aggravation, I guess, shall we say.
Is that a jerk-off reference? You were hitting your heavy bag?
It is not a literal boxing heavy bag. And I hit the side. I hit it too early on the side, and I think I sprained my arm, and it hurts so bad. And it's one of those where you just move your arm the wrong way and it winces. So throughout the show, you might hear, we'll be here all night if we have to re-record every time I say that. So just fair warning, you might hear that a couple times from me tonight. That's me wincing over here.
I've heard it a couple times before we hit the record button.
Oh my God. It hurts so bad. I have no words. I can't even throw a punch anymore without hurting myself.
Was it a straight punch or did you like do a hook?
Yeah, like a right hook, and I came in, but I caught my wrist. I don't know. The bag was swinging, and I caught my wrist on the side, and it just like reverbed up my whole arm. And I think it's sprained or something. It hurts so bad.
Well, let's be honest. It went to a decision, and the bag won.
The bag definitely beat
The bag won by decision.
Oh, so dumb.
Getting old's the worst.
Oh, my God. It's awful.
Imagine how you're going to feel waking up tomorrow, pal. That's going to be the worst of it.
You're going to be stuck.
I'm going to be using my left hand for a few days.
Oh, that's like a relief pitcher.
Right? Stranger.
So we're getting into Strongsville, Ohio on this one. Grew up there. I will admit, I had no idea about this case. Somehow this was off my radar when this occurred, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I don't know why, but it's fascinating because it's a small town. I don't know. I didn't hear about it.
I remember it as being on Reddit a lot, but I never really dug into the case. You know what I mean? I'm sure for people in Strongsville, it was probably a huge deal, right?
Yeah. It was. I've asked around, and yes, it was a big deal.
Before we get into that, Mike, I'm curious, did you, during your teen years dicked on a lot of these Strongsville housewives? Are there going to be any familiar names in this story for you? Or?
No, I think I've said before, like I was the shyest kid until I got to college. And that's a shoot. Like I was dead scared of talking to people. So no, I did not get to dick down a lot of stay-at-home moms or dads in the Strongsville community.
Weren't cutting your teeth in the bull game at an early age in Strongsville, Ohio.
No, man, I went straight pro in college. Straight pro.
Fair enough.
I did go to the mall a lot and go buy corn and ICP CDs at the local FYE at South Park Mall.
Nice. That's where I was a manager of fucking Crocs back in the day, South Park Mall.
That's crazy. I don't think I was ever in a Crocs store, but it would have been wild to think like I may have come in the shop while you were there working.
Yeah, that's super weird to think about.
Size 10, bitch.
10 and a half, please. Give me that half-inch, pal. That's what she said.
Well, I will also tell you, Mike, I was at Wrecking Crew, our brewery, the other day, and our pal Bob is doing some bourbon collecting, and he bestowed on me a nice bottle of Eagle Rare, which I have dipped into this evening to dull my sprained arm pain. So hopefully I will be slurring by the end of this episode and feeling much better.
People would probably enjoy that if you did.
Yeah. So thanks for the bottle, Bob. You've taken my pain away.
All right, well, let's dive into it.
On July 31st, 2022, a motorcyclist was riding through an industrial area near the intersection of Progress Drive and Alameda Drive. It was around 6:15 a.m. He spotted a Toyota Camry smashed into the brick wall of a commercial building called Plidco. The car had hit the corner of the building on the passenger side, and it was so bad that you can hear the responding officers on the body cam saying that it was like the car was split in two. Oof. All three people inside were unconscious. None of them were breathing and had to be cut out of the wreckage. The driver, a 17-year-old girl named Mackenzie Shirilla, was airlifted to Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. She had multiple broken bones and needed several surgeries. The two passengers didn't make it. Dominic Russo was 20 years old. He was in the front seat. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Davion Flanagan was 19 years old, was in the back. He was technically still alive when first responders got to him, but he died before the helicopter arrived. When they pulled Mackenzie out of the car, it's worth noting that her foot was still stuck on the gas pedal.
Yikes. I think I told you guys I was at Walmart the other day and some guy had a medical emergency and drove through the front of the building, got a little airborne there. Yeah. He was going 35 miles an hour.
Which is pretty fucking fast in a parking lot.
Yeah, it was scary being right next to that. Like, shocks your system. Really. It takes your brain a second to figure out what's going on. That's scary when shit like that happens.
It's like fucking like Final Destination kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Being that close to something like that.
Sure.
Probably drove right through a cart thing. Is that where it hit? It was like the cart area?
Yeah. Like the atrium, right? Like where the carts are all before you like get into the store.
Yep.
Yeah, like what if there was some kid in there pushing carts or something? That's crazy. And that's 35 miles an hour. I know I'm kind of spoiling it, but tonight we're going to be talking about like 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like,
can't even imagine.
The video's out there. You sent it to us just before we went live, and that car is fucking fast.
Yeah.
For an industrial parkway, that's fast.
Very quiet at this time in the morning, too.
Yeah.
So before we get into the why or the what happened exactly that morning, we need to backtrack and know who these people are. Dominic Russo was born on September 24th, 2001 to Christine and Frank Russo. He was one of 7 siblings, grew up in Strongsville, went to Strongsville High School, and by all accounts was a kid who wanted to build things. At the time of all this, he was 20 years old and he was already running his own clothing line. He was into Bitcoin and stocks. He had a recording studio set up in his house. At 20, he was living in the house next door to his mom, Christine's. The family owned both. I don't know if it was like a kind of like a Cato Kalin kind of like the side house, you know?
Sure.
But he was like, just sounded like one of those dudes that was trying to make something of himself, just like throwing everything at the wall, just like ideas, nonstop kind of dude. Davion Flanagan was born on March 11th, 2003. His early childhood was rough. His biological family there was issues with drug abuse, and when he was 8, he and his 2 sisters were adopted by Scott and Jamie Flanagan. By every account, that adoption changed his life. His adoptive father, Scott, said that Davion always called them his second chance. Davion played football at Strongsville High School. He was a starting running back during his senior year. He ended up getting hurt, so he shifted gears. He wanted to be a barber. At the time of this wreck, he was working full-time to save up money, and he was in the middle of filling out his application for All-State Hairstyling and Barber College in Cleveland.
This is another one of those stories, and this might only be like the second or third time where like this incident occurred after this podcast started. We don't often get into that territory. I think this is only like maybe the third one we've ever done.
Yeah, we're not really current event, Johnny, on the spot. You make a good point.
Well, we do that intentionally because we like a lot of times for the story and the legal system to play out before we get into something. You know, so oftentimes we do that deliberately. This one kind of does play out, but I guess that just also shows how long we've been fucking doing this. A lot of these stories are going to play out that have happened since we started the show. You know, that's why we're sitting here with broken arms after punching a soft, pillowy bag.
Oh, my God. It hurts so much.
Rub some Bengay on it. You'll be fine, pal.
I will say that these seem like very nice parents to adopt 3 siblings. That is quite a commitment. And
Cool, man.
Quite admirable. Wow.
So Dominic and Davion were friends. They both loved music. Davion would come over to Dominic's studio and rap while Dominic worked on tracks. They were part of the same circle of people in Strongsville. Mackenzie Shirilla was also part of that circle. She met Dominic while they were both at Strongsville High School. He was about 3 years older, and they started dating. By the time of the crash, they had been together for about 3 to 4 years.
So this was the cool kid circle. Mike Namapa would not have been friends with these people.
I didn't associate with public school kids, Dave. Thank you.
It's also true.
I was sent to the local Saints Joseph and John interparochial Catholic school in town. So I was not a part of this this public school delegation.
Right there with you, pal.
All this fucking crazy behavior that goes on in public school.
Dave and I, like, we always joke, like we act like we're so much better going to a private school, and we are literally worse. We are worse.
And we had to pay for it.
Yeah, we had to pay to get,
Somebody had to pay for it.
abused and assaulted and everything else beaten into your brain. Good times. This just turned into therapy.
Welcome to the Indoctrination Hour.
From the outside, it looked like a normal high school relationship. Mackenzie spent a lot of time at the Russo house. Christine Russo, Dominic's mom, considered Mackenzie kind of like a part of the family. They spent holidays together, went on trips together. A little background on Mackenzie. She grew up in Strongsville, raised by her parents, Natalie and Steve Shirilla. She went to high school in Strongsville, same school as Dominic and Davion, like we said. And how everything has been reported, local media and everything, at school she had a reputation. Classmates who were interviewed after the crash, and like when I'm saying interviewed, I'm talking about like law enforcement interview, described her as someone who liked attention and knew how to get it. Multiple classmates told police that she was a fan of Regina George from Mean Girls and like was real into imitating her.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. I didn't look this up.
Regina George from Mean Girls. So it's, who's the girl from The Notebook, Dave?
Rachel McAdams.
It's Rachel McAdams. And that was the movie with Lindsay Lohan, where Lindsay Lohan was like raised by parents that were like, I don't know, like they raised her like overseas and maybe like Africa. Right. And then they bring her to the United States and she's like thrown into like regular high school and she has no idea how to like navigate like the drama. And Rachel McAdams is like, yeah, on Tuesdays we wear pink. And, she's like one of like the pretty popular girls and,
Gotcha.
you don't let yourself get pimples and you got to stay fit and blah, 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 all that. And would talk down to girls that she didn't like, kind of just like the bully.
Who knew Mike was such a Mean Girls expert?
Ooh, I was a
excellent dissertation on Mean Girls.
Big Lindsay Lohan fan back in the day, pal. Big Lindsay Lohan fan. Also, Mean Girls is a very good replication of Strongsville, Ohio, I think. Minus the movie did not have any pooping on front porches, unfortunately. Maybe in the director's cut. I don't know. They didn't consult me on that.
Would have been cooler if it did.
Fuck yeah. I would have done it for free. It's stunt work. Poop stunt work.
That poop guy's here. Move. Get out of his shot. He's going to go for it.
Why is that guy in the corner downing Taco Bell? Don't worry about it. He's doing method.
By some accounts, she had a following at school, girls who orbited around her. She also had a TikTok account with a large number of followers and companies that would send her clothes and shit for like products to review. So like by the standards of a suburban Ohio high school girl, she was a big deal, I guess. But not everybody saw it that way. Davion's father, Scott, told the Daily Mail after the trial that his middle daughter knew Mackenzie from school and described her as a bully, back with that Mean Girl stuff. And he said that she was real big into telling kids who were depressed that they should kill themselves.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a really big thing with kids nowadays. I don't understand it.
I remember that being a thing when I was in school too. Like people would be like, someone bitching or crying, be like, "Oh, kill yourself."
Oh, really?
Like just is almost like a way of saying like get over it or something. You know what I mean? Like except not, because those are extremely heavy words to say to someone. But
these kids online they encourage people to do it.
Like that one case, a girl got convicted of the text one, right? Where she had her boyfriend kill himself, that whole crazy thing.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to touch that one.
It's pretty
I
heavy.
feel like I might be fucking tarred and feathered by our listeners over that one. I might have a controversial opinion.
Did we
on
not
the outcome of that trial?
Did we not cover a story like that where someone convinced someone online to kill themselves?
We've talked about her before, but we've
Maybe
never
that's
went in
it.
depth on it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to touch that. I don't want to give my real opinions on that. Between December 2021 and January 2022, so early in that year, 2022, Mackenzie moved in with Dominic full-time. And in the 6 months before the crash, Christine noticed that the relationship started getting strained. Dominic's brother, Angelo, said that the couple would break up and get back together constantly, just very toxic.
Everyone knows couples like that. Pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
According to Christine, after Mackenzie moved in, she became controlling. Dominic would take her to school. He paid for everything, paid for vacations. Multiple people close to Dominic described the relationship the same way. It was on and off and progressively getting worse.
Was something going on with her and her home life? Because she was only 17 years old, right? It's kind of unusual to move in with your boyfriend when you're 17 years old.
I'm not entirely sure on that part of it. I know that there's a documentary coming out about this case in the future. I'm interested to see what it has from her side of things in it regarding that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure we'll do an OT in the future, depending on that. But yeah, I'm not sure. On July 17th, 2022, so that's 2 weeks before the crash, Mackenzie was driving on Interstate 71 with Dominic in the passenger seat. They got into a fight. Dominic called his mom, upset, and asked to be picked up. Christine sent a family friend named Martin to go get him. Martin called Dominic on the way, and while he was on the phone, he could hear Mackenzie and Dominic arguing, and then he heard Mackenzie say, quote, "I will crash this car right now."
Well,
That's damning evidence.
It's not great. It's not a great threat, right?
nope.
When Martin got there, he found Mackenzie's car pulled over on the shoulder of I-71 with the passenger door open. As Dominic got out, Martin saw Mackenzie swinging at him, hitting him with both hands. So he gets Dominic in the car with him, took him home, but nobody reported this incident to the police. That was the end of it. It's pretty fucking dangerous, the whole situation, like just stopping on the highway for a domestic incident, you know what I mean? And having to have somebody else come and stop on the highway as well.
When you see those videos of like, police stops and like cars crashing into them and stuff, it's high speed and it's not always the safest.
It's super dangerous. No one's paying attention. Everyone's texting. No one knows how to drive anymore. And on top of that, you have this clearly angry, yelling young lady who's probably not paying at all attention to the road, threatening to crash the car. I'm like, get me the fuck out of this car, man.
That wasn't the only incident that happened that month. Dominic had been recording Mackenzie during their fight. After his death, Christine found a phone in Dominic's house that belonged to a friend named William Ellis. William got the phone back and found video recordings on it from July 2022. And so this stuff is turned into the police after the fact.
Wow, that's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
It tells you where his head was at, you know what I mean? Like he's had it enough to the point where he's going to start documenting what's going on.
Yeah, because like that's not something I would ever think about doing in a situation. But I guess if you're pushed enough, you would start to think about maybe something like that.
And you know why? Because this girl's clearly a nutter. So she's probably swinging on him, like we just said, and probably saying things like, I'm just supposing here, like, if I do whatever to myself and I blame it on you, everyone will believe me and that kind of thing. So I would start taping too, just to protect yourself, because I'm sure she was saying all kinds of crazy shit. You know the type. Everyone knows the type.
He certainly felt the need to pull out a cell phone and start recording, which is smart. Just wild.
Everyone's had to deal with crazy broads like this. You got to protect yourself. Every man out there is shaking their head. Yes, not exactly what I mean.
It's just a guy driving with his wife right now, like, oh, not you, baby. It's not you. It is my ex-girlfriend. And in his mind, he's like, oh, it's this fucking girl. She's going to kill me. She's going to kill me.
Exactly.
And now he's looking at his wife again going, yeah, but they don't mean me, babe. Like, it's not me. I'm not thinking that about you. And he's still thinking in his mind, oh, it's you. It's you.
Side-eyeing her.
Sorry, pal. We just got you in big trouble. Whatever. His name's fucking probably Keith or Todd or something.
In one of these recordings, Mackenzie showed up at the Russo house and Dominic wouldn't let her in. You can hear him on the video trying to calm her down. It's not working. She started banging on the door, demanding he open it. She's calling him all kind of names. Prosecutors described him as, quote, degrading and highly inappropriate. At one point, you can hear Dominic ask, quote, are you threatening to key my car? And she responded, quote, I will key this car if you do not let me in this house. If you don't let me in this house, yes. I don't know. I took it as he was just trying to get her to actually say that on camera.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Point proven.
She threatened to break the handle off the door. She starts counting down out loud multiple times, trying to force him to let her inside. On the recording, you can hear her say, quote, you're going to come open this door right now or there's going to be a serious fucking problem. Like that shit, like the before stuff is like, yeah, that crazy girl you dated, right? And she's fucking nuts and whatever. But this kind of stuff is like crossing over into like really, I don't know.
I would like to remind both of you that you both said Jodi Arias was marriage material. I rest my case.
She wasn't doing this.
Pal. Breaking in baking cookies.
She also spread that poop hole wide open and was down to clown.
Oh, that changes things. I see.
Well, this girl's only 17. I will not comment on her, whether or not she enjoyed the art of anal. I have no information on that. It would be inappropriate for me to comment on such a thing. I'm only commenting on Jodi Arias.
I was just throwing out the reminder that you said she was marriage material.
Well, she was.
Jodi was just going a little too far with her niceness.
Jesus. she just went a little too far. Just a little too far.
She wasn't doing any shit like this.
I wasn't talking about the murder. Like the murder, no, take the murder out of it. Like breaking in the house for the cookies, it's a little too far, but she wasn't like threatening to hurt anybody.
This is one of my favorite things to do is have you guys defending Jodi Arias.
I will turn myself into a pretzel to defend my position paper on Jodi Arias being marriage material.
Ugh. I don't want to marry Casey Anthony. I just want, her to smother me unconscious with that thick queen juicy dumper one time. That's all.
Understandable, pal. Understandable.
So at that point, when she's saying, counting down out loud and all that really aggressive craziness, Dominic stopped recording at that point and called his mom. But just like the I-71 thing, nobody reported this to the police at this point. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody because Dominic's an adult at this point too. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying there's no official record of this going on. You know what I mean? Like nobody that could stop this, like really stop it, is aware of it.
It'd be out of the ordinary to call police for something like this.
You think, with key in the car and like trying to break the door?
Well, threatening to keep the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. People put up with a lot of craziness. I don't know if this happened to you. I don't know that you're necessarily calling the police on your girlfriend that lives with you. It just seems like you're opening a can of worms that makes your life even more difficult for the most part.
Yeah, and there is still that age gap too, right? Like he's 20, she's 17, and he's probably just thinking like, she's younger, like she's just angry, whatever. Like this is blow over, it'll be fine, whatever. I'm not saying he shouldn't have, obviously, looking back, right, that'd been the right call, but I can see how you would not call the police.
Is it because she's a 17-year-old girl that we kind of feel that way? Like if the roles were reversed, if it was a boy, do you think we would feel a little bit different about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wait, say that again. If it was a 17-year-old boy, if he was 17 and she was 17.
Right, would we feel different? Because like this is like straight up, take the genders out of it. It is like a straight up domestic violence kind of thing, the way she's behaving. I think I would feel differently if it was a boy doing this to a girl. I don't know.
If my daughter's boyfriend lives at my house and is outside threatening her like that, I think I view that in a different light than my son's 17-year-old girlfriend who's, I don't know, gets irritated a lot and says crazy stuff. Right or wrong, I don't know that that's the right answer, but I think
I'm just thinking out loud.
Accurate.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I was going to say fair. It's not a fair statement. It's accurate. I agree.
It's just truthful.
Yeah. Truthful. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the night of July 30th, 2022, Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davion went out together. Around 10:15 p.m., the three of them showed up at a graduation party at the house of one of Mackenzie's friends, Kelly Vraja. They stayed less than an hour. Kelly testified that when Mackenzie got there, she asked Kelly if they had anything to trip on. And the group of them, like the three that showed up, they were debating on whether or not to take mushrooms that night.
To shroom or not to shroom? That is the question.
Dave, to go back to your earlier question, I would 100% not have been hanging out with these people. I was not a drug user or a alcohol user at my time in Strongsville.
Duly noted.
Mm-hmm. I was probably at home playing SmackDown vs. Raw at this time on PS whatever.
You probably were, nerd.
Yeah. I wasn't in a car going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
As he pours another Eagle Rare. With his broken arm.
Pain.
They'd brought a weed pen and a bottle of tequila along with them. And from there, they drove to the house of another friend, Paul Burlinghouse, around 11 p.m. They got there. They hung out, listened to music. They all smoked weed. I don't know if Paul did, but we know from after the fact, the three of them, Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davion, they all had weed in their systems. But Paul said that everything seemed fine between Mackenzie and Dominic.
Did they know that weed was not legal in Ohio at this point in time?
Oh, they should have.
Breaking the law.
Yeah.
Tisk.
Wow. Also, weed, tequila, and shrooms seems a little heavy for some young people, right? It's kind of heavy duty.
Well, maybe we're just too old, Dave, and we're just out of the game. We couldn't handle it anymore being a teen
I know I couldn't.
Early 20s.
Yeah, I've never tried anything outside of weed. I've known some people who have tried shrooms.
Yeah.
Some of my friends that tried it had a good experience. A couple of people had not so great times with it.
Yeah. If you want to pick up some crack, I'll smoke it with you.
All right.
It's offering, I hear it's really, really fun.
How about the night I'll do my first weed, you guys do your first crack? We'll just make it a party.
That'd be kind of fun.
See where the night takes us.
Could you imagine going and trying to buy crack or a crack pipe?
Excuse me, I'd like to buy some crack, please. I'll have 3 crack, please. It's for me and my friends.
What is a unit of crack these days? Fine, sir. We would like 3 units of crack cocaine, your finest crack cocaine. All organic, please. We don't like the chemical stuff.
Something like that.
I feel like all the drug shows I've watched, if we just buy an 8-ball, I think I can make my own crack at home. It doesn't seem that hard.
I think we're going down a road right here, fellas. We should be very careful with the next statements we make so as not to incriminate ourselves.
I feel like that 8-ball lasts a long time if we turn it into crack. It's like Jesus passing out the loaves. They just go on forever. It was like a week later. We still got some crack, fellas. This is awesome.
So at some point in the night, Paul went to sleep and Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davion stayed up. They left Paul's house at 5:30 a.m. Mackenzie was driving. Dominic was in the passenger seat. Davion was in the back. His father, Scott, would later write on Facebook that Davion was, quote, nothing more than an innocent passenger looking for a ride home. And that's really it. There's no other reason for him to be in the car. He had nothing to do with this toxic relationship and like the escalating stuff that had been going on. He was just in the back seat chilling. At 5:34 a.m., a CCTV camera picked up Mackenzie's 2018 Toyota Camry making a right turn from Pearl Road onto Progress Drive. The turn was controlled. She was going the speed limit, and she used her turn signal. Progress Drive, right? It's a 2-lane road in a business park, so it's super quiet, industrial, and it dead ends at a T intersection with Alameda Drive. And at 5:30 in the morning, there's nobody out there. This wasn't Mackenzie's normal route home. This wasn't the way that she'd come. The prosecution later showed cell phone data proving that Mackenzie had been in this area, the same area, 3 days before the crash, which we'll get into that stuff later. Then 1 minute after she makes this calm turn with the turn signal on, a second camera caught the car at the end of Progress Drive. It was going over 100 miles per hour. The headlights were on. There were no brake lights. The car crossed the T intersection with Alameda, went over the curb, airborne, and then hit the corner of that building. The corner brick wall hit the passenger side of the car where Dominic was sitting. It's a really eerie video too, because it's exactly how I described it. It's such a calm, normal turn. And then the next time you see the car, it's fucking just barreling down the road.
Screaming.
The car's event data recorder, the black box that gives us all the information for this, the accelerator pedal was pressed to the floor at 100% capacity for at least 4.6 seconds before impact. The engine throttle was at 100% until 1.6 seconds before the crash, which is when the car went airborne over the curb. The brake was never touched. This is so extremely eerie about this case. But the car sat there like that for 45 minutes before that motorcyclist we talked about at the beginning found them.
It seems odd that no building alarm alerted anybody or anything.
Yeah, not great surveillance going on over there.
Apparently not. Man.
Like we said at the beginning, Dominic and Davion didn't survive this. Mackenzie did survive. Inside the car, police found mushrooms and a digital scale. Toxicology, like we said before, showed that all three of them had weed in their systems. So it didn't sound like they took any. No one ate mushrooms, I don't think. Didn't sound like it.
I looked up also. I wasn't quite sure where Almeida Drive was. I knew Progress. This was just a couple miles from my elementary school. I was long gone by then. I mean, this was 2022, right? So I'm an old man I sneeze and I pull a muscle in my lower back by this point. So anyways.
Is there a statue of you, like a bronze statue out in front of that elementary school of you?
No, that would, it's a Catholic school, Dave.
At the hospital, Mackenzie told a doctor the crash was her fault. She also said that she wanted to die. And then during the investigation, she asked if she could just get her license suspended for 10 years. It's an odd statement. It's something that the judge is going to bring up later. That's a weird concern to have.
It's a little different.
In the weeks and months after the crash, Mackenzie posted about it on social media. Like we talked about before, she had a big following on TikTok, and she was now posting videos from her hospital room, and her following grew. Also, companies were reaching out to her, hooking her up with shit to like review and whatever.
That's nice. Yeah.
She posted tributes to Dominic on his obituary page, calling him the last person that deserved for this to happen to. She said she missed his laugh and his smile. She also posted a TikTok where she said, quote, "I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die."
Oh, okay.
Weird flex.
This girl's a twat. I am so annoyed with this person.
Yeah, that's one of those, I can't remember the name of the subreddit, but there's a good subreddit where it's like, it's not the flex you think it is. Yeah. That is not the flex.
Ridiculous. I think my biggest question on this is, were these dudes sleeping when this happened?
5:30 a.m. Like after what? Drugs, tequila, whatever else.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assumption. It didn't look like in the video anyone was fighting her for the wheel necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wasn't going back and forth, or like it looked like a direct steered crash.
Mm-hmm. Head on, no resistance.
Right. And if you were in the passenger seat, you would think you would be fighting at least.
Or at least trying to put it in park. Can you still put cars in park?
Something.
You can still do that, right? I don't know how cars work anymore. Everything's different now, but you just throw it in park and drop that transmission where you're at.
You would think something. And this was just straight on.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little later. Like the prosecution has some theories about how like the gear was shifted in various ways. So if the prosecution's right, it seemed like at least Dominic would have been awake, but Davion could have been passed out in the back seat for all anybody knows for sure.
All right. Put a pin in that then.
Yeah. But yeah, like you guys said, you're drinking tequila and shit, smoking weed.
Yeah, you're not all there for sure.
No. You're sleeping for sure, passed out.
I know I am.
At least halfway.
Yeah.
If you're giving me tequila, I'm probably puking.
That too.
I want to be honest. Not good.
I've never been in.
Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know if that was your arm or that was you thrown up from tequila.
Maybe a little bit of both.
My arm.
Probably both.
Jeez.
Tequila is not good at all.
Awful.
At all. Even the clear, the brown, any of it. I don't love tequila at all. Can't get into it. Also rum. Can't get into it.
It's the only time I've ever had a good tequila was our mutual friend years ago at one of his parties. we were having a conversation about tequila, and he was like swearing by this one. I'm like, dude, there's no way I don't like tequila. He gave it to me on the rocks. He's like, you're supposed to just like sip this one. It was pretty tasty. It wasn't like normal tequila, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I still don't like it.
Did it come with a side of bush?
Guy does love his pubic hair, so.
While she was posting all this kind of stuff online, the Strongsville Police Department was building a case. And in November 2022, about 3 months after the crash, police had enough to arrest her. A detective went to arrest Mackenzie, and on the body cam footage, you can hear him say, quote, "You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2. Nobody's going to ask you any questions. Nobody's going to bother you." And she's crying, but then her first words were, quote, "Can you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?" It's another interesting concern.
Well,
questionable.
She was 17 at the time of the crash, but she was charged as an adult and held on $500,000 bond. Her defense attorney, James McDonnell, made a decision early on to do a bench trial here instead of a trial, which, yeah, I don't know. I never, like 10 years ago, if somebody asked me this question about a bench trial versus a jury trial, I'd be like, are you fucking crazy? I'm not doing a bench trial. But after like meeting you, Dave, and talking about stuff all these years and through stuff, there's no way I would want a jury trial, I don't think.
yeah.
Sometimes, but very minimal, I think, really.
Oddly enough, my opinion would be in this case, I would not want a bench trial. I would want a jury trial because I think suburban jurors would be particularly kind to a 17-year-old white girl from the suburbs and would have a hard time believing that she did this on purpose. I think this is a misstep with the attorney.
If in jury selection you could get a couple dads on there, like guys in their 30s to 50s or maybe even 60s.
With daughters.
Yeah, right.
No, he needs one.
That's true.
I think you're taking a big risk taking a bench trial on something like this. I think this is the opposite of when you should take a bench trial.
See, that's what I'm saying. You always got the good insight on this stuff.
And I don't have a law degree or anything.
I didn't think of it that way, though. But yeah, you're right. Because there was another case, or maybe it is the case we talked about with the girl with the text messages. And I had this conversation like with people in real life or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a really good point, because you get one guy that has a daughter and he's like, I can't see this happening.
Exactly right.
Dave's gambling so much now, he's just playing odds on everything in life. He's got to play the odds.
I think this was 100% the wrong move, taking a bench trial here.
No home runs in this game, playing the odds.
I'm a bit of a dry spell there, sir.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Each and every one of us has experienced financial stress at some point in our lives. In fact, many of us are dealing with financial stress right now. A recent poll showed that 88% of Americans felt some form of financial stress at the start of 2026. And this type of burden can take a real toll on our mental health and our relationships. Money worries often bring anxiety, sleep disruption, and even depression, and are one of the leading sources of conflicts for couples. This month, we want to normalize the emotional weight of financial stress and remind people that struggling with money doesn't mean they failed. Sometimes it's just about accepting the right kind of support. Obviously, therapy can't provide financial advice or manage your money. But what it can do is help you manage the stress, shame, or anxiety that can come with it. Therapy can help people unpack their relationships with money, build healthier coping strategies, and feel less alone in the process. If this sounds like it could be helpful to you, why not give BetterHelp a shot? BetterHelp has been helping people find their match for over 12 years, having served over 6 million people globally, and has a 4.9 out of 5 rating with 1.7 million client session reviews. If you're looking for quality, BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. And to get started, all you need to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and you'll be matched with a therapist that is tailored to fulfill your needs. When life feels overwhelming, therapy can help. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/necro. That's betterhelp.com/necro.
So he advised her to do the bench trial. So instead of a jury that's seen by a single judge, that judge was Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Russo. Same name as the victim, but no relation. The trial started on August 7th, 2023, and ran for 4 days. The prosecution's case was built on 3 things: their surveillance video, the black box data, and the pattern of threatening behavior in the weeks before. They showed the courtroom the CCTV footage, and the judge called it the kind of evidence that you, quote, can never unsee. It really is. It's like we said that before. It's a crazy video.
It is.
You know?
Be terrifying being in that fucking car.
It's so fucking loud.
What do you think it's like going 200 miles an hour, Mike, and hitting the wall?
Oh,
My God.
praise hell, praise Dale. Fastest angel in heaven.
Is that how fast he was going? 200 miles an hour?
180 plus. Yeah, I don't know the exact, but it was enough. I think we've talked about it before. Like, he hit hard enough that his face bent the steering wheel. Like, not good.
Yeah.
He also, it was like one of the last ones to wear an open-faced helmet. Nowadays, and even at that time, everyone was wearing like closed face. He was just old school and would wear the open face like motorcycle helmet with goggles. And that quickly stopped after that.
So they showed the black box data and brought in a crash reconstruction expert from the Ohio Highway Patrol and a forensic mechanic from Fire and Explosion Consultants. It's like their company name. But they both confirmed the same thing, that the accelerator was pinned to the floor and the brake was never touched.
Ugh.
It's hard to argue against intent when the brake was never touched.
Yeah, I mean,
Very hard.
What kind of car was this?
Camry.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I even realized like black box data existed in cars. You always hear about like that kind of stuff with like airplanes and stuff.
I honestly didn't either. Like I knew that there were those things that you could get for, and this might be dating me and like making me seem super fucking old, but like those little things you could get from the insurance company to put in your car to be like, I'm a safe driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Never do what?
Put something from my insurance company in my car.
Yeah, but now you don't need it, pal. It's already in your car, and they'll just subpoena that if they needed it.
All right, I declare now to all law enforcement personnel, I forbid you from accessing the black box on my car because it will show some things that may not be appropriate for road driving. Nonetheless, they were appropriate in my mind.
They're like, look, this guy's drunk on Eagle Rare and has a torn tricep. This is not legally binding.
Dangerous out there, and you got to adapt, and you got to drive to survive. That's what I do, pal. I make no apologies.
I know. I was in the car with you the other day. You beeped the horn a lot.
You know what's funny?
Dude, that's like,
I'm an aggressive driver, and I appreciate driving with Dave because he is also an aggressive driver. Man, he loves that horn.
Yeah.
He loves that horn. 3 times on the way to Cleveland.
Couple on the way home, too, I think.
People almost hit us, though, did they not?
There was at least once that I can remember where it was very warranted because a truck 2-lane over just decided he was going to take over the next lane. And then the car that was next to you had to do something, but instead of looking, just tried to cut over into you. It was warranted. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Die, motherfucker. You don't come in my lane.
That's a you and the truck problem. That's not my problem. I'm over here by myself. Deal with what you got yourself into, pal.
I don't mind some aggressive driving.
Yeah, like the insurance company would look at whatever box data you got going on.
Yeah,
what the fuck is this?
No. We cancel my policy.
But I don't know. I did not realize there's like black boxes in all of our cars. Maybe I'm naive. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either. They also showed the cell phone location data placing Mackenzie's phone in the area of Progress Drive on July 28th, 3 days before the crash. This isn't an area she would normally be in. It wasn't on the way to anywhere that she regularly went, but her phone was there. The prosecution presented this during their closing arguments as proof that, this is proof that she was scouting out the area and looking for a straight path that she could hit.
Well, we're not talking about GPS data. We're talking about a cell tower ping, right? Not exactly the same thing.
I don't know I'm not sure.
But if it's not a cell ping that normally she had, and then a couple days before the accident, she did have a ping there, that helps the case. I'm not saying that's concrete evidence, but it helps.
It helps. She also may have been going to pick up a pizza somewhere she doesn't normally go. It's not like...
No, I can confirm there's 0 pizza places over there. 0.
I was just saying a cell phone ping is not, the same thing.
You're not going to win it just on that. But when you add that to everything else, I think it helps.
It piles on, sure. Builds a picture.
They argued they argued she scouted the route. Okay. You can make that argument.
Yeah.
If I'm on the jury in that one maybe I would say, well, you can't prove that.
Agree.
I'm going to Google real quick when this black box data became available, because I think depending on what year her car was made, this could be a very different case.
Did you know about the black box data,
No,
Dave?
I had no idea.
Did you say that?
Oh. I didn't know they have that shit.
They're fucking watching us, man. The FBI knows, Dave, that you didn't let that car in when he almost got plowed by a truck. You're on a list.
Mandated in all vehicles since 2014. 5 to 20 seconds of technical data before, during, and after a crash.
2014.
Wow.
Her car is in that.
And I think that if you took that evidence out of this, there's not much, right? Really proving that she kept her foot down.
That's a big one. I mean, that compounded with the text messages or the video, the audio that he had saved.
Yeah, threatening to crash the car before.
Yeah, that's a case right there. At least something to build off of. I'm starting to think she did this on purpose.
Are you?
Yeah. I think I'm turning, guys. She might have done this on purpose.
There's also this whole thing with the medical examiner that I fully don't understand, but it's reported on locally and it's pointed out, so I don't want to skip out on it. But when the crash first happened, the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office ruled that both deaths were accidents. The autopsies were done by Dr. Joseph Philo, a forensic pathologist and chief deputy medical examiner. And the reason he ruled them accidents is because that's what the Strongsville Police Department told him. Their initial report classified the crash as a traffic accident, and Dr. Philo made his determination based on that. As the investigation went on, Strongsville PD generated a lot more material, right? Like all the shit that we've been talking about, the cell phone transcripts, the surveillance video, being the big one, all this stuff.
Yeah.
It paints a very different picture than a traffic accident. None of this was ever sent to the medical examiner's office. It just sat with Strongsville PD. Nobody has explained why, but it's reported as a local failure, so I wanted to make sure we mentioned it, but I don't know.
If a car runs into a building and it's an accident, then that makes sense. You would list it as an accident, but if you find out it was intentional, it converts it to a homicide, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I don't know who dropped the ball there or,
Well, when they originally got to the scene, they didn't suspect anything at the time, right? It took months for them to gather this and then charge her. So when the bodies are first taken to the medical examiner's office, they're just saying, hey, car wreck, this is what we have. Yeah. It's not right, but that makes sense, I guess. There's no tomfoolery. They had no reason at the time to believe that this was a murder case.
the way it was reported was like Strongsville PD dropped the ball because they should have like went back to the medical examiner and been like, hey, we're actually investigating this as something completely different.
So after the fact, they should have went back and said,
Right.
hey, we need you to look at these bodies again.
And I don't know if that means anything. I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned it just in case.
Well, it's not like every day the Strongsville PD gets a case like this, I'm sure. So maybe they didn't even know they were supposed to do that.
Day-to-day call is, officer, there's a young man shitting on his front porch. Can you please come check this out? He might be high on those methamphetamines I heard have been going around.
I don't know if you guys remember, but I also told the stories with my friend in grade school in Strongsville, and he took his dick out and was pissing on the window at the Ground Round while his family was eating lunch at the Ground Round. That was also in Strongsville.
Yes, it was.
Lots of necro history in Strongsville.
Yeah. We were rooted in Strongsville. Also, Ground Round, underrated restaurant. I wish those were back.
Be fantastic. Bring them back.
Yeah. Those Ground Round and Ponderosas need to come back.
I would love to have the Ponderosa back.
The Ponderosa.
Classic. One of my favorite places.
Ground Round always had really good arcade machines in it.
They did, like in like the lobby, right? Like the waiting area.
I feel like they
always
had a
like
WrestleMania one.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think they had that there.
Well, until Dave's friend pissed all over it, probably. Short-circuited it.
I always try. That just crosses my mind every now and then. And I think like if I was with my family, it was like a grassy knoll kind of thing outside the window. And if we were sitting there having lunch and looked outside and some 8-year-old just starts pissing on the window while we're eating, I would just start laughing.
Yeah, I probably would too. Like,
would
I
be busting
divert your
up.
eyes.
What if that family still talks about that 40 years later?
Eat your delicious, meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
8 months later, in March of 2023, the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office stepped in and they took that material to Dr. Filo themselves, asking him to take another look. And after reviewing all this evidence, he changed it from an accident to homicide.
Well, good. All's well that ends well. Sounds right.
It just seems like it took a little longer to get there.
Yeah.
But they didn't have all that information readily available, right? Like they didn't, if it wasn't a fluke find by, what was it, his friend that found the phone that had like the audio of her saying, I'm going to crash my car or I'm going to, whatever, and then I don't know how quick that black box data was available, but,
right.
I can see how this would take a little longer to get to the conclusion.
Agree.
We put a lot of shit on cops in a lot of these stories. I don't necessarily do that in this one.
No, and that's why I made sure I just wanted to point out, like, that's the way it was reported, because I don't necessarily see the huge issue. Like we've talked about just egregious shit over the years. you know?
I don't think they're ignoring stuff. They're working with what they have, I think.
And this is very unique, right? Like, clearly we're talking about it, right? That's how unique of a story, a case it is, and it's a small town. And
you're not regularly changing accident reports to, murder indictments. So the autopsy cause of death has to be changed. It's an anomaly. It's not something they're like, oh, we do this, we do this, we do this. So,
right. Like that's a twist at the office that day.
Right.
Her defense argued that this wasn't intentional. Her attorney suggested Mackenzie could have been swerving to avoid something in the road, which we see that on video. She did not swerve. He suggested that a passenger could have grabbed the steering wheel. He also pointed out that Mackenzie had a medical condition called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome that can cause dizziness and fainting. He floated the possibility that she had some kind of a medical episode behind the wheel.
Well, Ian, you have pot syndrome too, you weed head.
Yeah. That medical episode is kind of tough. That's like the weakest one, right? I don't know. Having your foot just jammed down on the pedal like that the whole time.
That's what they said about the guy at Walmart when I was there. Had some sort of medical emergency, foot jammed down, drove right into the wall. I don't know.
Isn't this going to be crazy in 5 years when we do a story on that Walmart one and Dave was literally there to be a witness of it and it's going to turn into a true crime thing? Like maybe the person who did that ended up like, you know, maybe he killed 4 people before he went and drove his car into Walmart. And he was trying to kill himself and didn't or something. You don't know. I'm speculating. I don't know any of the story, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that be wild? Like Dave, for the first time ever, like a necro witness to a crime we're covering.
Yeah. Maybe there was a little person putting the carts away and they don't even know that he got hit. Maybe he like got sucked into the radiator or something.
He's still in
there. They don't know they got killed yet. Hey, let me out.
Oh, like one of Mark Davis.
Yeah, like a little gnome person. Hey, you ran into me.
Yeah, they were small enough to fit in. He could still be in the car.
One of them. They lived in the walls sometimes.
They could be all over that fucking car. Those were tiny little things, right?
Yeah.
The fucking pop when he came back to that house from those little people.
Cheered him on.
It's one of my favorite moments on this show.
Go, Mark, go. Go, Mark, go.
Yeah, they were pumped to have him back.
I almost just spit out my beer.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
I'm crying.
You're the wind beneath my wings, Mark David Chapman. Anyway.
There were several witnesses for the defense, including Paul Burlinghouse and Kelly Vraja, who we talked about earlier. Those are the people that said that they had saw Mackenzie and Dominic earlier in the night and seemed fine. But the prosecution had answers for all of this stuff and for the medical defense. Mackenzie had applied for her driver's license both before and after the crash. Both times she said she had no medical conditions. So, Second, the paramedic who assessed Mackenzie at the scene checked her pulse, motor function, and sensation in all 4 of her limbs, and everything was normal. He said that ruled out a stroke, seizure, or any other major neurological event. The third, and this is the stuff that comes from the black box data, which is just kind of flips my whole perspective on how I'm thinking about this case, because if this is like a 2013 car, this might be a whole different case.
There's no case without it.
Yeah.
You're walking, for sure.
There's really not much evidence at all. In the seconds before the crash, the transmission was shifted from drive into neutral. We don't know who did that. It could have been by Dominic or Davion trying to stop the car, or it could have been something accidental in the chaos of it, but then it got shifted back into drive. The appeals court pointed out that no medical condition could cause somebody to lose the ability to brake or lift their foot off the gas while also reaching over and manually shifting the car back into gear.
I wonder if at the last second he tried to move it and put it in a neutral or something. When he slammed, his hand was like on it and it just put it back in the drive after the fact. That's what it would seem like to me.
I wonder if he tore the muscles in his forearm, Dave, and just couldn't operate his arm anymore.
It happens. It's very painful.
He probably went, ugh.
I wouldn't blame him if he did.
I kind of low-key want to, I don't know if this is the weed or not, but look into this car black box data, because now that I'm thinking about it more, it's crazy that we're able to tell that when the car is how it's being shifted. You know what I mean? Like when it goes into drive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, and the mandate was specifically for situations like this. We can figure out what happened. So
yeah,
good on that.
There's probably some kind of crazy case behind it. Like you could probably go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. That's probably just the weed. I'll forget all about that idea later.
But it's still a big part of this case.
I won't look into that.
It's still a major part of this case, though.
It really is.
The case, yeah, for sure.
On August 14th, 2023, Judge Russo delivered her verdict. It was guilty on all counts, and she didn't hold back. She said that Mackenzie's actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. She said Mackenzie morphed from a responsible driver into, in her words, quote, literal hell on wheels as she made her way down that street. She said that Mackenzie alone chose that route. It's an obscure road that she'd visited just days before. She chose the time, early morning, when no one would be around to witness or help, and she alone pushed the pedal to the floor. At sentencing, a week later, the family spoke first. Christine Russo, Dominic's mom, looked at Mackenzie and said, quote, "Be thankful that you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be. Dom and Davion were robbed of their futures, their hope, and their dreams. Mackenzie showed no mercy on Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul." Davion's sister told the court that she felt stuck, that she couldn't move forward, and asked for the longest possible sentence. Before the judge ruled, the prosecution showed TikTok videos of Mackenzie at a concert celebrating Halloween after the crash, including pictures where she was dressed with friends as corpses, like doing a whole like kind of zombie thing.
I don't think that's a good idea. That's not very smart. Because at that time, she didn't think she was going to be getting charged. She thought it was all done, huh?
Right.
She's like all of us and didn't fucking know about that black box data in the car.
Like, what's this now? Black box?
Excuse me, what?
Mackenzie's mother, Natalie, pushed back on that, and she said that like the Halloween stuff was the only times that her daughter did something for herself, and that Mackenzie had been holed up in her room crying and stuff, and like she had built this shrine for Dominic, and for 3 months after the crash, she had only like worn his clothes.
Okay, great.
The judge also brought up the license comment from the hospital, the one where Mackenzie asked if she could just have her license suspended for 10 years, which is so fucking weird.
This dumb bitch heard about some fucking vehicular manslaughter case where somebody got probation and their license suspended for 10 years, I'm guessing. That popped in her head. Like, oh, can I have that too?
I was like, no.
Absurd.
Yeah. This is privileged ass behavior.
Mackenzie spoke before the sentencing. She said, quote, "To the families of Dominic and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. We were all friends, and Dom was my soulmate." Judge Russo sentenced Mackenzie to 2 concurrent life sentences, one for each murder, with the possibility of parole after 15 years, and she permanently suspended her driver's license. The judge said that her hardest decision was whether to make the sentences consecutive or concurrent. In the end, she chose concurrent, but she said that she also believed that there was a very good likelihood that Mackenzie would spend the rest of her life in prison. She also pointed out something else, too, that, you know, even if Mackenzie intended to die in that crash, too, a failed suicide attempt isn't a defense for murder.
It certainly is not. I agree with the judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, if you drive head first, going 100 miles an hour, she 100% was thinking about killing herself, too. She wasn't intending to survive this.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair. How can you, well, I don't know what, she wasn't rationally thinking in general, but yeah, you got to think if you're going 100 miles an hour, you are all just going to die.
What did her toxicology report come back as? What did she have in her system after they tested her?
Weed.
Just weed?
Let me try to see if I can double check on the alcohol,
But I just mean, even in general, I think if you're doing this, your intention is probably that you're going to kill yourself as well, and maybe thinking that's your out. Like, oh, I'll take them out, and I'm going to kill myself too.
I think that's probably likely, but if you're fucked up and sort of approaching blackout drunk, and you get mad at your boyfriend and you just fucking around, like speeding 100 miles an hour to scare him, whatever, and you know, going that fast, you misjudge depth and distance and stuff. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she was, you know, could hardly see, and she was going 100 miles an hour. Maybe she didn't necessarily mean to kill herself or crash the car, just trying to scare him, but that's the way it turned out. But
that compounded with all the messages she sent and all the things she said.
That's true, sure.
You know, yeah.
Oh, she's a lunatic for sure.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, maybe she thought she would survive it and be like, oh, well, I'm going to kill them and I'll just live. I don't think that. My thought is, I'm just going to take us all out because this is what they deserve in her mind.
Yeah.
And then she ended up surviving and maybe for a while thinking, well, goddamn, I got away with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to these parties and dress like a fucking zombie and, you know, whatever else.
Yeah. I'm going to say maybe she was just driving like a reckless ass and didn't slow down in time.
No, there is no alcohol.
So nothing.
In her system.
She was sober.
No. Yeah, well, it's a
She had
different story.
weed.
She had weed.
Yeah.
No. Well, but Dave, she was also, you know, we have the video. She was going, 35 miles an hour. She made that nice turn. And then it seems like took off in the industrial area where she had just visited.
I just mean maybe she's obviously a hothead. I just mean maybe she was pissed and driving. I'm going to teach him a lesson, drive 100 miles an hour. Maybe not intending to crash in the building, but when you don't know what you're doing and you can't drive and things like that get away from you. And suddenly that building's in your lap and you didn't realize it and you didn't have a chance to slow down.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that either.
I do not believe that's what happened, but I think that's a fair argument.
Supposing. It doesn't seem like that's what happened, but it's still reckless homicide regardless of whether he's being an asshole.
But intent makes the sentence feel all that much better.
Agree. I agree.
This
I agree
judge
with that.
wasn't fucking around at all, and good on her.
This might be the worst bench trial decision I've ever seen by counsel. That was horrible.
Dominic's father, Frank, told NBC News, quote, "It's horrible for everybody. Yeah, I lost my son. It's harder on our family, but I don't want the rest of her life ruined too. It's not going to make me feel any better."
It's wow. Okay.
Frank, I can say that you are a better man than me because I would not be saying those words.
Mackenzie's legal team filed their first appeal in September of 2023, arguing insufficient evidence and clerical errors. The 8th District Court of Appeals denied it. The Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear the case. There was a second appeal filed in April of 2025. That was denied too. The only reason was because it was filed late. Her attorneys did not file it on time.
Oh, boy.
You have one job, attorney. You have one job.
That's rough.
Mackenzie's parents broke their silence in May of 2025 in an interview with WKYC. They still believe that the crash was an accident. They say their daughter had the POTS diagnosis that was never properly presented at trial. They say that their original defense attorney failed to introduce key evidence like the medical records, text messages that they claim would have contradicted the prosecution's narrative, stuff like that. Mackenzie's mother described the trial like living in an alternate reality. Quote, "Nothing we gave her attorney ever made it into court. I just remember thinking, how is this even real?"
I'm starting to question that attorney. I don't know.
Like I said before, earlier in the show, that there is a documentary being made. I don't know when it comes out, but I know that it is in the works. So,
is it like a Netflix thing? Do you know, or is it like a Prime thing? Or we not sure yet.
Believe it's Netflix. It's like a higher end company. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a shitty fucking UFO documentary made in some dude's basement.
Right.
Shame.
But maybe there will be something provided in this documentary that shows you like, yeah, there are some text messages. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I will watch that. I won't watch it.
Mrs. Dave Namapod can watch it and fill you in.
Yeah, she'll watch it.
Yeah, she'll fill you in on it.
I will watch this one.
Oh.
Hometown Zero. I will watch this one.
As of now, Mackenzie is incarcerated at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, and her first parole hearing is scheduled for 2038.
Oh,
By then, I might get close to getting my first tattoo.
Oh, man, you're going to stretch it out.
That is absolutely not going to happen, sir.
End on a good note, though, because this is really a just an all-around sad story.
Yeah.
You know, but end on a good note. Davion Flanagan's family.
Just a huge victim in all of this, right? Like, was just hanging out with his friends and...
Yeah, I mean, he had nothing to do with this at all.
Yeah.
His dream was to be a barber. Like we talked about before, he was filling out his application for barber school when all this happened. In 2023, his parents, Scott and Jamie, started the Davion Flanagan Memorial Fund and created a scholarship for aspiring barbers who can't afford tuition. In December 2024, they gave the first scholarship to a woman for her to attend all-state hairstyling and barber college. The person who got this scholarship grew up in foster care the same way Davion did before the Flanagans adopted him. And Davion's sister said that it helps on hard days, like knowing that somebody is out there living their dream based on her brother's memory. His mother, Jamie, said, quote, "We miss our son terribly, but we can't have him back, making something hopeful and hopefully something beautiful potentially out of the ashes of this whole awful situation."
Good for them. It's nice.
Yeah.
What a horrible, stupid thing.
Or is it going to be a fucking twist? Is there some stuff out there? I don't know. Probably not. It seems like the black box data tells us everything that we need to know.
Seems to, but you never know. Something that's going to generate an appeal, a successful appeal. I don't know.
Yeah, because, I mean, who knows? Maybe the lawyer fucked up enough to get a second trial or something. I don't know.
But we still have messages she sent. We still have audio of her threatening. And we still have black box data that shows she didn't try to stop.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting to see what new evidence could come up.
Right.
There's a lot of evidence against her so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she could give the defense like that Florida guy that said the aliens beamed him into the BMW right before that crash. Maybe she could prove the aliens beamed her into the car after a crash. She wasn't driving at the time.
Was that a news story?
Some kind of news story we did somewhere.
Patreon.com/Necronomipod.
Florida man said the aliens beamed him into the car right before it crashed. He didn't crash the car.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. If it's my kids, I think she's right where she belongs.
Absolutely. There's more than enough evidence here, I think.
I agree. Based on what we discussed tonight, I don't think anything to debate, really. Not really much at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's very clear cut. I don't think you'll ever know exactly it was 100% intentional or it's just being a dumbass and didn't break in time. But regardless, you're still culpable. So I agree. Yeah. Dumb.
Ian, anything else on your end you found? Any other notes or points we didn't get to? Anything to discuss?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Dave, what do you got for us on Patreon?
Well, thank you to new patrons, Christy Washam, Lauren Kamaksar, Freddie Bryce 22, Sam Kiefer, Samantha Messmer, I Love Bread and Women. Oh, me too. Me too, sir, ma'am. Me too.
Okay.
The Mothman stole my catalytic converter in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, as Bigfoot cucked Mike while the little people in the wall yelled.
That is a very weird kink you have, sir.
What's going on there? Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him good.
That whole catalytic converter thing's super specific. I feel like somebody stole that person's catalytic converter before.
There's a bumper sticker of that.
Oh,
it goes around, yeah. Mothman stole my catalytic converter.
Well, never mind.
I'm going to get you one, pal.
All right.
Caitlin Caudle, Susan N., Beloved Cunt.
That's good.
Very good. Perverted Introvert. Have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? For he has come again, and his name is Declan. How do you feel about that?
Well, okay.
Mike's not buying it.
You can hang out with him if you want for 12 seconds. You'll figure that one out.
Lindsay, K, Tariq Ahmed, Martin Atomic, Lauren L, Andrew Stetson, Catherine McCloskey, S. Kerr, Ira, Sam Garswood, Melissa, Emil Carlson, Pixie Donut, Randy Richardson, and Callie. Thank you, new patrons. Enjoy yourself.
Ian, you got anything else for us on your end?
Yeah, on Patreon, we just did the lead masks of Vinton Hill.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a weird story.
Really weird.
What else do we have coming up? We have a poll that went to a runoff, and now it's clear that Dennis DePue is going to win. So that bonus will be coming up at some point.
DePue, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. Dennis DePue is the clear winner on the poll. So
it's allegedly the case that the Jeepers Creepers was based on.
Yeah, the beginning
loosely,
scene.
That beginning scene, yeah.
Real piece of shit, that guy. I was reading about him a little bit today.
Well, he's not the greatest.
Was a fun episode.
Yeah, talk about him and then do the last live stream on the Art Bell tier for the Megan McDonald case.
Oh yeah,
We'll do that.
I'm gonna wrap that one up this month.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll dig into everything, just kind of hang out for a while and just talk about it. I think, and just kind of compile everything in one last stream, and then the following month we'll do a full episode on it. But so all kind of fun stuff on Patreon coming up.
And also coming up this month, maybe one of the most requested wrestling episodes.
Oh yes, that's true.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, big month.
I'm fucking chubbed up now hearing that. No, that's actually actually truthful. I got myself hard by talking about a wrestling show. All right, Dave, anything else on your end?
No, not a thing, sir.
We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Necronomipod. The new and improves necronomipod.com, patreon.com/necronomipod, and amazon.com. Search Necronomipod for all of our merch.
We didn't plug your the blog.
I did. I wrote 2 blogs. I'm going to try to keep up with it every now and then. I don't want it to be like, it's not going to be a weekly thing. I'm not going to put myself in a time crunch. If I have something to say or write about or review fast food wise or whatever, I'll write. There are 2 new blogs up by me on the necronomipod.com. Check them out if you want. Fun little reads. Just stream of consciousness, usually really by me. Please don't put a lot of thought into critiquing it. It's just me spouting off. Check us out, necronomipod.com, new and improved. I'm going to keep that website up to date.
All right, you guys ready for the cool down beer?
Cheers.